In the heart of Nairobi, where towering buildings met dusty alleyways, there lived a woman named Achieng. She was a janitor at one of the city's most prestigious tech companies, Innovata Africa. Every morning, before the sun had fully risen, she would walk the long road from her small house in Kibra to the glittering glass tower downtown. She wore a faded green uniform, and her calloused hands told stories of years of hard work. But behind those tired eyes lived a kindness few had noticed. Each evening after her shift, Achieng would return home, but not before making a quick stop at the local market. She'd buy whatever food she could afford: vegetables, ugali flour, beans, sometimes even a little meat if her salary allowed. But this food wasn't for her. She'd cook in large pots over a charcoal stove and carry containers to the nearby shelter, where many disabled and homeless people waited patiently. She fed them not out of pity, but out of love, like a mother cares for her children. She never asked for anything in return. Sometimes she sang old Luo folk songs as she served food. Her voice, though cracked with age, was soothing, a reminder of forgotten villages and the simplicity of community. Some of the children called her Mame Chakula, mother of food. She'd always respond with a warm laugh and a gentle hug. What Achieng didn't know was that someone had noticed her, someone very powerful. Malik, the CEO of Innovata Africa, was a young tech genius known across the continent. Raised in Mombasa, educated in Cape Town, and celebrated in Lagos, he was a symbol of the new Africa: brilliant, ambitious, and rich. He drove the latest electric SUV, wore designer suits made by Ghanaian tailors, and gave interviews about blockchain and AI. But behind the headlines, Malik had his own struggles. His wealth had distanced him from his roots, and in recent months he had begun to feel something missing. Something real. One day, while checking the office's security footage, part of a review for building renovations, Malik saw something unexpected. Achieng, the janitor, was cleaning the floor of the executive wing long after others had left. Then he saw her take leftover food from the cafeteria, pack it carefully, and place it in her worn-out backpack. Most bosses might have dismissed it as theft, but Malik was curious. Where was she going with that food? The next day, Malik decided to follow her. He wore a plain hoodie, left his car behind, and walked at a distance. He trailed her from the company gates, through alleyways, past open sewers, and into Kibra. It was a place Malik hadn't seen in years, not since his childhood visits to his grandmother's house. He watched as Achieng greeted vendors by name, laughed with children, and then entered her home, a one-room structure made of corrugated metal and old wood. He waited. About an hour later, she emerged with steaming pots balanced on a metal cart and made her way to a gathering spot by the railway tracks. What Malik saw next would stay with him forever. Dozens of disabled men, women, and children were seated on crates and stones. Some were blind, some missing limbs, others just broken by life. Achieng began serving food, calling each person by name. She smiled, joked, sang, and encouraged them to eat. When the food ran out, she knelt down, prayed with them, and then handed out water and soap, reminding them to stay clean and safe. Malik's throat tightened. Here was a woman earning barely enough to survive, giving everything she had to others without asking for recognition or reward. He returned home that night but couldn't sleep. The next morning, he called an emergency meeting at the office. "I want to talk about impact," he said to his executives, "not just profits, real impact." He told them about Achieng without mentioning her name, and proposed a company initiative, a new foundation to support community heroes. It would start with building better homes, launching food programs, and creating job opportunities for people with disabilities. The board was stunned. Some thought it was a PR move, but Malik wasn't done. Later that week, Malik invited the entire company staff to a special meeting in the conference hall. Cameras were set up, the media was present, and employees whispered rumors of a major announcement. Then Malik walked on stage with Achieng by his side. She wore her green uniform, clearly confused by the attention. Malik spoke into the microphone. "Every company talks about leadership," he said, "but leadership isn't about titles. It's about character. I followed this woman, not because I suspected her of wrongdoing, but because I saw something extraordinary. She is the definition of Ubuntu. I am because we are." He turned to Achieng, eyes shining. "You have shown us what it means to serve. Today, I want to honor you." He handed her the keys to a new house, a fully furnished apartment near the company's headquarters. Then he announced a monthly salary increase 3 times her current wage and appointed her the first Community Impact Ambassador of Innovata Africa. She would lead the new foundation, mentor other employees, and continue her work with full support. Achieng stood still for a moment, unable to process it. Tears streamed down her face. She tried to speak, but only managed a whisper, "Asante sana, Mungu awabariki." The crowd erupted in applause. Some were crying. The story spread across Africa like wildfire. News channels in Nairobi, Lagos, Accra, and Johannesburg shared it. People reposted it on social media with captions like asterisk, "This is the Africa we want, and not all heroes wear suits, but the best part." Achieng never changed. Even with her new apartment and higher income, she continued feeding the people by the tracks. Except now she had volunteers helping her, more food to serve, and even a small van donated by the company to reach more areas. She used her new position not to climb higher, but to lift others with her. One evening, months later, Malik visited her at the shelter. They sat on plastic chairs under the stars, sipping hot tea. Children played around them. Music played softly from a radio. "You know," Malik said, "I thought I was changing your life, but really, you changed mine." Achieng smiled and patted his shoulder. "We all need each other, Malik. Even a CEO needs a reminder of home." And in that simple moment under the African sky, 2 very different people were united by something bigger than success, humanity. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.